covering news where you live. This is 5 News at 6.
I believe this district's the best district in the state, and I can't understand why anybody wouldn't want to be in this district.
That's a statement many Fort Smith families can get behind from the new school superintendent there. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Darren Bobb. 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi had a chance to learn more about Marty Mahan's story and how this one-time substitute teacher plans to lead one of the state's largest school districts.
Believe, belong, and become.
Fort Smith Public Schools' motto is something newly appointed Superintendent Martin Mahan knows very well.
I've been here about 31 years.
He began his career in education as a substitute teacher, moved on to be the principal at Kimmons Junior High and Northside High School, and eventually made his way to deputy superintendent.
But what's kept me here is just the people, the commitment from our teaching staff, our administrative staff, our support staff, whether custodians or maintenance or child nutrition. There's just a commitment to our kids to do whatever it takes to ensure the whole child's needs are met.
Mahan will lead a district that has more than 13,000 students and 28 schools, a challenge he is willing to take on.
Ensuring that we continue to improve instructionally every day. It's the atomic habit, percent better today than yesterday, a percent better tomorrow than today. Always assessing security around our campuses, focusing on the needs of mental health, also looking at the effects of the social world on our students and being there able to help them manage technology, manage social media, things of that nature.
In his new role, Mahan wants to build on the district's success.
Stay consistent that we are expecting the best grade level instruction and expecting the best from our students, and then also preparing our staff. The other thing is just to continue to be innovative and look at new ways, new approaches to engage learning.
Mahan adds that it's also important to highlight the work the district is doing more efficiently by being more active in the community.
Just be accessible and visible around the campuses and be present in classrooms, in the hallways on a regular basis, maybe ride a bus a few times a year, but just to be present.
If you were to ask Mahan 31 years ago if he thought he would be superintendent, he would have said no. But come July, he will be leading one of the state's largest districts.
I believe this district's the best district in the state, and I can't understand why anybody wouldn't want to be in this district.
In Fort Smith, covering news where you live, Jacob Luthi, 5 News.
Let's talk about the forecast now. A wonderful day out today. In fact, it's been a perfect week weather-wise. Scott's now going to talk about the rest of the week.
There are going to be some minor changes out there this evening. It feels awesome. A great night for a walk in the neighborhood, a dinner on the back patio. Current temperatures largely down into the 70s, although folks in Sallisaw, Poteau, Fort Smith, even Boonville holding on to those low 80s. Probably for the next hour or so, we'll all be falling into the 50s overnight tonight. But one of the big changes that we're tracking, there is a cold front. It's a weak one, but a cold front nonetheless. It's knocking at our back door in northwest Arkansas. There's a few clouds as a result, winds starting to shift out of the west. That front moves through overnight tonight, and there's a second cold front that's going to move through midday tomorrow. These are weak cold fronts, so our temperatures aren't necessarily going to change a whole lot. Technically speaking, yeah, it'll be a little bit cooler tomorrow, but still rather comfortable. What does it mean for your weekend? Nothing. It's going to be an awesome weekend, nice weather. I'll have a breakdown of what you can expect. Those April showers, while we're getting a break from them now, aren't too far away. We'll track the next best chance of rain here coming up just a few minutes.
All right, Scott, thanks. Bentonville firefighters called to a construction site in downtown Square this afternoon. They say some of the materials for roofing caught fire. It took firefighters a little under an hour to get this situation under control.
The construction site, so you can't just walk up to it, and then there was some damage to the roofing itself, which makes it difficult for our firefighters to walk on. So we've got to kind of disperse the materials, make sure it's out without subjecting our firefighters to undue harm.
Fire department says nobody was hurt. Some nearby buildings like the Ledger did need to be evacuated. Tonight, new questions are being raised in Van Buren after a man was found dead over the weekend. There is a suspect arrested and facing charges, but as 5 News reporter Jose Carranza tells us, a witness is now claiming he tried to get help a whole day before the victim's body was even found.
Police say it started as a welfare check Sunday morning. Officers were called to South 40th Street and Kingsbury Drive, where they found 34-year-old Michael O'Malley dead from a stab wound to the chest.
Officers were dispatched to South 40th and Kingsbury Drive at about 11:19 a.m. and in reference to checking the welfare on a male subject that was laying beside the road. And upon their arrival, they located a male subject who was later determined to be deceased at the scene.
But now, a witness claims he saw the fight unfold a whole day earlier and called 911 for help.
As I'm going down 40th, I see two people on the side of the road fighting. At that point, I seen the guys, and when I tell you they were fighting, like, they were fighting. I mean, they were like, I had one guy was on top of the other, he was slamming his head into the curb.
Robert Snyder says he tried to separate the men, but backed off when one of them pulled a knife and slashed a tire. He says he called 911 around 2:47 a.m. on Saturday. Snyder claims dispatchers and officers initially told him they couldn't find anyone at the scene. Based off his conversations with the family, Snyder believes critical time was lost, time that could have saved a life.
Victim's family members said that the autopsy examiner or the medical examiner determined that he was alive after he had been stabbed twice, once in the neck and once in the heart.
According to the probable cause affidavit, investigators believe Anthony Tabor, 19, stabbed O'Malley during the altercation, then fled the scene in a stolen vehicle. Days later, police found a knife matching witnesses' descriptions in a creek behind Tabor's apartment.
We determined yesterday afternoon that we had probable cause to charge Anthony Tabor with second-degree murder.
Snyder says he's been in contact with the victim's family, who is now demanding accountability, not just from the suspect, but from responding agencies.
His family deserves justice, not only from Anthony, but because the department that was supposed to serve and protect them failed to do so.
Police confirmed that this remains an active investigation, and Snyder tells us the FBI was brought in to review the handling of Snyder's initial 911 call. In Van Buren, covering news where you live, Jose Carranza, 5 News.
Suspect in this case is 19-year-old Anthony Tabor. He is facing charges of second-degree murder and theft by receiving. He is in the Crawford County Detention Center tonight. Also developing this week in Crawford County, a man from Alma accused of shooting his mother-in-law. Investigators believe Christopher Miller shot her during an argument. She had to be airlifted to a hospital in Springfield, Missouri. Miller is charged with attempted first-degree murder and is in the Crawford County Jail tonight. Tonight at the Arkansas Capitol, lawmakers scheduled to once again vote on a plan that would fund the construction of that new prison in Franklin County. $740 million spending plan has failed to get enough support in 5 straight votes. Because it isn't an appropriations bill, it needs support of 27 state senators before it can move to the House. Only 21 senators voted in favor of the plan last night. We'll, of course, continue monitoring developments from the Capitol, bring you any updates on your 5 News at 10. U.S. Army Corps of Engineers monitoring Terry Lock and Dam in Little Rock after a barge on the Arkansas River tipped on its side and slammed into the dam. Jay Townsend with the Arkansas Corps of Engineers says it happened yesterday. Everything is still operating at normal, but they won't know the full extent of the damage until that barge is removed.
Because we've got about 160,000 cubic feet per second pressing it up against the dam. As flows go down, we'll continue to monitor it, and engineers are working on plans to operate the gate so that we can try to keep pressure on it.
Corps does say that the barge is not impacting other river traffic.